Traveling Away is episode 5, perhaps. I'm Andy, and we're traveling to Iron Mountain, which we've done once or twice before, but that's okay. You guys are along for the ride. We're just cruising. Been talking about a lot of things over the past few episodes, you know. Work, watches, traveling, you know, this and that. What will we talk about this episode? I'm not sure. I never really know, right? We can talk about the fact that it's sad. The one section of this drive that is 65 is only like 3 miles long. Which is too bad. But what can you do, you know? What can you do? Yeah, so I hope you guys are doing great. Have you gotten to do any creative interests lately? Writing or drawing, poetry, songwriting, perhaps, for the adventurous out there. All of those are quite adventurous, to be honest. I have gotten to do some poetry and some songwriting. I wanted to finish some songwriting, and I did not get the chance. There's a new song I'm working on that is honestly pretty tough to write. It verbalizes some thoughts that I've had that I don't love, but it's also hard to write because it's some thoughts that they're hard to express to friends, and there's stuff that I necessarily wouldn't even want to say, because I'm not sure how they'd take it. And I think that means it would be an enticing song, right? Like, there's something in my head that's like, well, you have to write that. Like, if you're uncomfortable sharing it, there's a good chance it would be a really good thing to share, and people would resonate with that and say, that is something I felt. But at the same time, I'm not sure. So, that's what I've been thinking about. I don't know, what about you guys? Anything? Something that I found helpful, you're probably not writing much poetry. If statistics serve, most people I know don't write it. Or if they do, they're not telling me that they write it. If you don't, though, well, I'd recommend that you do. It's really good to have some sort of artistic outlet. If you're just doing engineering, it's not good for you. Just doing science, not good for you. You gotta be well-rounded. Gotta get the exercise in there, and art as well. But a lot of people struggle writing, right? And I do too. I really need that constraint in there, right? It helps if I have a structure that I'm working towards. And what I have found that's really helped me is actually a prompt book. I bought a drawing prompt book, but I can't draw, so I took a label maker. I just got a label maker, it's fun. And I covered over the drawing, and it just says poetry now. And so I use it as a poetry prompt book. It'll say something like cyborg, and I'll write something for it. It's been really helpful. If you have any interest in getting more into art, you're not sure how to do that, you should try that. I've really liked it. It's still hard to find time to work on it. I wish I was less busy, but anytime I sit down, I really appreciate it. So I told you about some of my car problems, and I'm hoping they don't show up again. But you might be thinking, well, you know, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that, but basically I've been worried about these car problems. They haven't come back in a while, which is really good. I'm hoping to see that they fix themselves. The last time that I drove home with them, they only happened at a certain point for both the trips. And you might think, what was that certain point? You know, was it a certain kind of road, or a certain speed, or a certain RPM? Was it a certain way that you turn the wheel? No, it was playing 21 Pilots music. That seemed to cause the problems. And I don't know why that is. My passengers were pretty quick to point that out. And I don't know how that could affect it. It shouldn't. That said, it did seem to correlate more than I would have liked. I realized just now that the music I queued up for when I want to listen to music on this trip is 21 Pilots. In fact, the exact album that caused problems last time. Should that worry me? I don't know. I'm not particularly superstitious, but I'll say I don't really want to play it. You know? Although it would be funny if my car started making noise again. I'm like, wow, you know? Superstition's interesting, actually. You know, one sec, let me take a drink. Are you superstitious? I would assume that you'd answer that no. Most people I know are not superstitious. And, you know, for me, I'm a faith guy. I have a faith, right? I'm a Christian. And some people would say that's superstition. I would disagree. That's a different conversation. I'm talking about like superstition, like ladders, don't walk under ladders, black cats, all that jazz. I live with a black cat. Maybe this explains all my problems, right? Yeah, I say I'm not superstitious, but I work in a boathouse and I work on boats. It's funny, the boating crowd is very superstitious. A lot of the things that I think wouldn't matter do. In fact, we're actually renaming a boat right now, which I'm well aware is bad form. You're not supposed to do that. I'm kind of surprised that we are. Of course, we're a scientific institution, right? We shouldn't care, but it is a little weird. Captains are a superstitious lot from what I've seen. Call it whatever you will. They care about that sort of thing. And honestly, a captain that doesn't care about that sort of thing kind of surprises me. And it's almost not a comfortable surprise. It's like, oh, you don't care about all of the ship's legends? Like, you shouldn't, right? Because they're superstition. But also, are we sure that we don't want to take that chance? Call it what you will, not changing a ship's name or anything like that is superstition, and I'm not sure we should really give that sort of thing the time of day. So it's tough to know, right? Logically, I don't think it should matter, but there's a part of me that wants to adhere to that superstition for nothing else than the tradition, right? Some of those things that we follow, I like to follow just out of the ritual of it. It's fun to follow something. But is that safe? Is that healthy? I don't know. I'm raising much bigger questions than I can fill in 10 minutes or whatever. They're questions you need to answer. But you have to be careful. Anytime that you're having fun following a creed or a list of things or some special rules, things can go pretty south if you're not careful with what they are. So that's my deep tidbit for the day. As much superstition as you want on a boat, but if it's causing breaches of safety or inclusion, if they're cutting people out, there's a big problem. So I haven't had to deal with anything like that anytime recently, but oh, scratch that. That reminds me, actually. And I'll be very clear. This is not something that I have had a trouble with at my job, right? And this is also something that I don't believe. This is one of the things that made me think about this superstition thing, though. And that it's sometimes kind of fun to follow, sometimes super unhealthy. This is the one example I give. Apparently, it's superstition as a sailor that it's bad form to have women on the boat. Just wow. like oh my gosh, that is not good. You know, like and it makes me rethink the superstition that I kind of have fun following, because that's just kind of messed up, not okay. I share that just to say, if you're following superstition, just think it through. And if one of the things is like, let's exclude 50% of the population from doing something because it's unlucky, perhaps there's a problem, you know? Food for thought. Food for thought. And until next time, this has been really good, and I've enjoyed it. Yeah, I have been Andy. You guys have been great. It's been traveling a ways. I've been having a lot of fun. So I will see you guys next time.